following show is a paid program.
Family, how you doing? We are back from the Christmas holidays, and this week is New Year's. We are going to be, by the end of the week, going into 2021. On today, I have two exceptional guests, starting off with CaDori, who is an author of Ladies, Love Yourselves First. That's happiness. A little bit later, we will talk to J6 McDonald, film producer and writer of several movies. So stay with us with him. Miss CaDori is in the building with us. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Hi. I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's say this. CaDori is a great friend of mine, man. We met out. We've seen each other along the way. She was telling me about her book, that she's an author getting ready to release it. We talked about it. And this is it, is out. She is author of Ladies, Love Yourselves First. That's happiness. Why decide to write this book?
Oh my gosh, this is a long journey.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my life, ups and downs that I want to put in here. And what I found that being a woman, being a registered nurse, and just being in two different marriages, that a lot of women go through some of the same trials and tribulations, and that we're always pouring into other people and giving to other people, and then we come up short.
Yeah.
So I wanted to write something to empower women that it's okay to love yourself first and pour into yourself first. Fill your cup up before you start giving to other people, to change the mindset.
That's great. Let's do this real quick. Before we get started, let's see a videotape of Miss CaDori.
Y'all, this is like so amazing. I mean, I don't want to cry, but I'm just trying to kind of take it in, because it's kind of hard to be present when something that you dreamed of for so long. It was a hard fight to bring this book to fruition for women. I've been through 2 divorces. The last one almost took me out after being married for 24 years to what turned out to be a narcissist. But yeah, so this book, Ladies Love Yourselves First, That's Happiness, is a story and all of my ups and downs in my life throughout my career since childhood. There's a chapter in here, chapter 2, titled Childhood Trauma, which is, I want people to get out of that chapter that regardless of what happened to you during your childhood, first of all, it's not your fault. You're a child. And secondly, that you can move past that to walk into your own truth, your own purpose. So that childhood trauma chapter is about my real childhood trauma, one of them, and how I had to fight my whole life to get to where I am right now. So I'm sharing in this book my life journey, and I want women to feel empowered. Men can read it as well, but I really want women to feel empowered, because I feel like women, we usually come up short. Right. Because everyone is expecting everything from us, right. But we're taught a lot of times, raised and by society, not to pour into ourselves. So we should give to others all the time and never pour into ourselves. So this book is to tell women you can pour into yourself. Right. You can live your purpose in your life the way you want to, without feeling ashamed or feeling embarrassed or feeling like you're doing something wrong. So what I would like to do now is share just a little bit out of a few of the chapters here with you all, and you can read it on your own when you get the book, but these are some of the things that were near and dear to me. So I started first, my first chapter is titled Mistakes. I like to start with mistakes because everyone has made mistakes, whether you believe it or not. And I feel like this chapter titled Mistakes, it allows you to say, I'm not perfect, I'm human. And because I make mistakes, I can learn from them and I can move forward. So some of the mistakes that I made was when I was younger, I was incarcerated. I had a bail, but my family were at odds with my husband at the time, so I got to sit in jail for for several months instead of being bailed out because they were feuding with each other back and forth. And what I was locked up for was writing bad checks. It was something very minor, but because of the county that I got locked up in, they made my bail super high. It wasn't a lot. It was $3,000 or $4,000, and I have a huge family. But people didn't come together and get me out. Meanwhile, I got little children there that didn't get to see their mom. So what I decided while I was locked up is that when I get out of here, I'm going to live my dreams, and I'm going to go back to school to become a nurse. That's something I always wanted to do. And my first marriage, which was very abusive, my husband didn't want me to go. So he made it impossible for me to study, so I had to drop out. So once I became incarcerated, I wrote out my plan and I followed it to the letter to graduate from nursing school. Once I graduated, my life changed because of the income that I was able to make. I was able to travel and do things for myself. But that was not the end. The next hurdle would be a marriage to a man who was jealous of me. And I felt like that. Most of the marriage, although he said differently, I felt like he was jealous of me. And in the end, 3 years ago, that's what turned out to be. When you're married to someone, they're jealous of you, they're not going to help you get to anything you want to be. I've always wanted to write this book. This is a 15-year in the making book that just came out this year during a pandemic. Wow. So no one can tell me that God is not awesome because I'm living proof of it. And I'm also living proof for women that when you get out of those abusive situations, everything will flow easier because you're at a peace of mind. You don't have someone sitting next to you holding you back every step of the way.
Hey, thanks so much, man. So we're talking about never giving up on today. We're talking with CaDori. As we were leaving that segment, you were talking about jealousy.
Right.
In the marriage.
Yes. That's very real.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have gone through that, but me personally, most of my marriage, I wanted to do different things, entrepreneurial type of things, and he would make it hard for me to do it, like things like not paying his half. I was going to do something, so I would have to take my income and put it toward the bills,
right?
Because I'm not going to put my family last.
Yes.
So it blocked off a lot of things, and then mentally it kind of debilitates you from that creative flow that you have as an entrepreneur, as a free spirit. You just kind of shut down because you don't have that support. I mean, you're in the house with the person, so they're very critical to your success in a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I loved what you said about that because many people are being freed by that, just that bit right there, because it's so real. But at the time, you're not saying or thinking that because this is your best friend. This is the person you're married to. This is who you're spending the rest of your life with.
Right.
So you would never say this particular person would be jealous of me until these patterns happen.
Exactly. Yeah, you never say that because I'm somebody that's, really committed to marriage. I feel like if you're going to be married, you need to be all in.
Right.
So even when you have mistakes, you can forgive each other and you're all in.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sacrifice my marriage for something else.
Right.
At the time, that's what I said. So, I saw the patterns, but it wasn't an option for me to give up or get out of the marriage at that time. So, yeah, I just stayed and put other dreams aside.
Right. I loved what you also said was the fact that out of your first marriage, you sat there, and within the time that you were incarcerated, you sat there, but you wrote physically things down.
Oh, yeah.
What you were going to do, what was going to happen.
Yes.
Nursing freed you too.
Yes, absolutely. I wrote down my plan and I followed it when I got out. I got a job and I applied and I got into nursing schools. I was trying to get in even before I became incarcerated, but a lot of times there's a lot of hurdles you have to do to get in this certain program. So, of course, my mind wasn't as focused then as it was after I became incarcerated. And I believe it happened for a reason because I never had any time.
Right.
It's just I had a high bail and people wouldn't collectively come together and get me out.
Right.
So I know it was for a reason. And maybe that reason was for me to be strong enough and know that, hey, if you can sit here for 5 or 6 months with a bail, I even saw people come in and out of jail that were doing all sorts of crimes, and they were like, you still here?
Right.
So I know it's for a reason, but I got in, I didn't miss anything, and nursing school is a very rigorous program. You have to make like a 80 to all the way through, and people were failing out and dropping out like flies. I talk about that in the book, but I didn't fail anything because the moment I made my mind up to go, I'm coming out and I'm coming out on time, and I did just that.
Right. What I loved about you and what I love about your transparency is you're transparent even about incarceration.
Oh, yeah.
I was speaking to another young lady because I had read the book, you know, during this time when you sent it to me. I read the book itself.
Yeah.
And just to understand and talk to others.
Right.
And another young lady had said just going or listening to it about the incarceration because she was so in fear that people would find out about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the freeing of your transparency by saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can't help anybody if you're not, truly help anybody if you're not transparent.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people that are very critical and judgmental of people are quote unquote religious people.
Yes.
But if you're so religious, what are you going off of? The Bible. Who's perfect in the Bible?
Absolutely.
The Bible is built off of people making mistakes. So if people never made mistakes, there would be no Bible.
Right. Right.
Okay. So all these perfect people out here who are hiding behind the thing of Christianity, they've made mistakes too. It's just some people haven't got caught and been locked up, but they're doing all sorts of things. So I have a chapter in my book called "There Are No Perfect People,"
Right.
and it's talking about a pastor that I knew and all the mistakes and stuff that he did, and he's standing in a pulpit every Sunday
Right.
preaching to thousands of people, and he's doing all sorts of things
Right.
to tear up people's lives and homes behind the scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you do more of women empowerment. You empower women. Why so?
Because I just feel like, being a woman and, being a nurse, as being a nurse, people don't understand when people come to hospitals or whatever, they tell you about their personal lives all the time. They may be in here for this or that, but, maybe because of my personality, they'll just open up and start telling me about all sorts of stuff. And women, what I find, it doesn't matter the income level, the race, the culture, it's a lot of the same stories, the same patterns where we don't live our dreams, where we put everybody ahead of us, our husbands, our significant others, our children. And then when most women turn maybe 35 or 40 and their kids get ready to go off to college, that's when they realize then, I have lost myself.
Right.
I don't even know who I am. What's my
Absolutely.
purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? So my goal is to turn that mindset around even younger. Girls in high school and middle school, start pouring into yourself before you start pouring into all these other people in these relationships to figure out who you are. Because there's only one you on the planet, and you have an individual purpose that's all for you. And that's what God gave you, and you should be living that. You should not be not living your purpose because you have a family or a significant other. You should still be able to live your purpose.
I also got out of the book, what I loved about it was that you really pushed the fact you're already enough.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A lot of women body shame themselves, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of the media body shames women. And I saw in your book, you're enough.
Oh, yeah. I
You're
talk
already
about
enough.
that. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's only one you on the planet.
Yeah.
And once people get that, and they understand that there's only one me, then therefore you don't need to copy anybody.
Right.
You don't need to try to be like anybody. So what? If there's 1,000 people doing what you're doing, you're going to do it differently, and you're going to attract a different audience. I give the example that I made up years ago about a shoe store.
Right.
It just came to me. God gave it to me. I'm like, when you walk into a shoe store, you see hundreds of pairs of shoes.
Right.
And they're all successful shoemakers. Why? Because each pair reaches its particular audience that likes that, its particular customer. So it doesn't matter how many people wrote a book. My book is going to do something different than the next person who wrote their book, and their book is going to do something different. So I say that to say that you're unique. You're one of a kind, and you should be living to your full capability each and every day. And if nothing else, the pandemic should have taught us is that life is very short, it's very precious, and you need to be figuring out what is my purpose and what am I supposed to be doing, and get busy doing it and let no one stop you.
Right, absolutely. I love the fact also what I got, just knowing you personally, collaboration and unity. You love to collaborate with other women. You love to pull your resources and with other women. You're doing that right now. Shout out to Yumika.
Yes.
And the two of you all are combining your nonprofits.
Yeah,
type thing.
we've combined. We partnered, me and Yumika. She's the CEO and founder of Reviving, Restoring Pearls. And I heard about her through Amber Neal Day. We were both there being honored by her, and I was just struck by her story because at one point in my life I was homeless before I became a nurse, so I had to live in a shelter for 1 month. with my children when they were really small, like 3, 4 years old. And I saw what she was doing. She was helping women and children leave abusive situations,
Right.
escape in the middle of the night sometimes with
Yes.
nothing but the clothes on their back. So she has a compound, and I wanted to partner with her to provide, because I have a nonprofit, to provide some services to these ladies like toiletries.
Right.
'Cause they don't have anything but the clothes on their back. So they need these things when they come there. They're starting over from the ground up. So she and I have partnered together, and we're
Yeah.
going to be doing some great things in 2021 to help that organization help more women.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the fact that, and you talk about the fact that when women are leaving, you give them specifics of what to do. Let's talk a little bit about those specifics of what to do. Because when you're leaving, literally you've made up in your mind to leave. Going back to that day, just leaving, that is the most dangerous time.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
What you definitely want to do is be as private as you can about it to people that you can't fully trust.
Right.
And that would include some family members, because some women have lost their lives
Right.
trying to leave an abusive situation because they've told a family member, and then this person comes over, oh, I just want to see my children, I'm sorry, and they disclose where you are, and they go there and kill you or
Right.
kill your children. So you definitely have to reach out to the organizations like Filmmaker, and other organizations where women, their whereabouts are kept secret.
Right.
You have to do that. So that means that you may not be able to tell anyone in your family at those critical times. Maybe later on down the line, a month or something later, you may be able to somehow get a message to them some way.
Right.
But right now, you're worrying about your life and your children's life, and you need to get out of that situation alive and healthy and not think emotionally.
Right.
Because we're emotional creatures anyway, women,
Right.
and we want to, and maybe if I just tell my friend over here or whatever, well, that friend may be able to be, feel sorry for somebody and tell them where you are. They're not meaning for you to get hurt, but several people have lost their lives like that.
They have, and I understand statistically it takes a woman 7 times to really leave. She's gone back at least 6 to 7
Right.
times, gone back.
It takes that time.
Yeah, because it's mental.
It's mental, and it's like love bombing. Like as
Right.
soon as they beat you up or do something to you or abandon you, they're going to come back and try to fix that and look a certain way and make you
Right.
believe this, and you buy into it again, especially if you're married or been with somebody a long time, because you really want it to work.
Right.
Most women that I know want their relationships to work.
Right.
And they'll try, but unfortunately some people have lost their lives believing in another lie, because this person's not going to change, especially if they haven't went and got any real therapy or anything that you can see concrete other than their words.
Right.
Because words mean nothing. It's the actions that count.
And then I know that a lot of women stayed because of children and also pets.
Yeah.
They'll have their pets and they can't take
yeah.
the pets to the, shelters or
Right.
something like that. But then also you have boys. If you're a woman, you can't leave your boy into an adult men's facility. You have to
Right.
take them with you.
Right. It's very critical. That's why I like Yumika's organization, because it accepts all of them and
Exactly.
figure out ways to put them. You don't have as many restrictions as some of the other ones. And we're hoping that more organizations will look at the whole picture.
Right.
Look at the pet that the woman has had that's really part of her family. Look
Right.
at she has a son who's past age 8 or 9
Right.
that can't go into this woman and girl shelter. Those things are very important. So we're trying to educate people as well as we help people.
Absolutely. I love that. And then another facility. I know they're trying to get a
Yes.
facility too.
Yes.
In
Yes.
that too.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We
Yeah.
need that. And me, on the flip side of it, as a nurse, we're trained that if we see somebody that look like they're in an abusive situation, we're trained to, try to help that person, get that person alone. Because most times the abuser is right there in the
Right.
hospital with the person, guarding everything that they say to you. So even if you see bruises from head to toe, they're going to say they fell down the stairs
Right.
or whatever the case may be. But we're trained to try to get them somehow by themselves, to ask them if they need help. And a lot of times we can get their abuser, to leave or even be arrested if we can
Right.
get the woman alone. But it's
Right.
hard to get them alone sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
see this on the front line.
Oh, yeah.
Registered
Yeah,
nurse.
yeah. Everything I talk about in my book mostly is stuff I've learned through my career, 25
Right.
years in nursing, as well
Wow.
as my personal journey. Yeah.
Right. And now that COVID has come about, oh my God, it has
It's worse.
it's worse.
It's worse. I just saw an interview last week on Isaiah Carrier, where they were interviewing the Women's Center CEO or one of the managers, and she said that with COVID, they've had more murders of women because
Right.
now you're stuck in the house with this person who's already abusive. You can't go to work. They're not at work. And now the abuse and the numbers have gone up.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's sad.
It is sad. It's
Yeah.
sad. It's sad. And looking back and looking at what you've done with the book itself, and we're going onward to 2021. We're coming out of 2020, and going forward, what do you see for your book? What would you like to, the actual reader to get out of the book?
Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of events. There'll be virtual events, of course, but I want the reader to read it. And I didn't make it super long, so you can get through this book really in a couple hours. It's like 120 or 130 pages in easy read. To just feel empowered, mostly that you're not alone, because that's the first thing that people think when you're going through anything.
Right.
Why is this happening to me? I'm all by myself. And even the best of us, like I've seen some female physicians, some female surgeons, some female anesthesiologists, some female nurses, some female teachers, female everything that's in abusive situations.
Yes.
So it does not matter the income level, the race, or the culture. It cuts across all those barriers. So just be empowered and know that you're not alone. There are resources that can help you, and just get out of that situation alive.
Wow.
Yeah, get out of that situation alive.
I love that about what you're doing, what is going on. As we go along in never giving up, and just being the forefront and being able to empower women, what would you tell family members at this time if they see this? Because many times we don't know what to say. We don't know or we will say something, we do.
Yeah.
We will say something, but the person still goes back.
Family members need to just always be very supportive, because you have to understand the statistics and the psychological effect of it. Yeah, it sounds easy just to leave, but like I said, you have what you call a master manipulator on the other end. They literally know this person. They know if this person looks a certain way, they may be up to planning or leaving.
Right.
They have full control most times of the finances. The woman doesn't have a separate bank account or a sock or anything with money put away. Women need to always have your own money. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but religion has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Just being smart about it as a woman, you need to have something to call your own, because that's how people are getting trapped. They don't have the funds to even buy a bus ticket to get out of town.
Right.
And why would you, as a human being, feel like you need to give all that control to another human being just because you're married? Who said that?
Right.
And if they said it, they were lying.
And I'm glad you said that. You just made mention of one thing. Even if he gives you grocery money, keep a little for yourself.
Yeah. Figure out how to, first of all, I want to change mindset so you don't even get in that situation. But if you are in that situation, start making your exit plan.
Right.
Figure out how to start getting money together so you can leave.
Yes.
Get a bus ticket. Go to another town, to another shelter if you don't feel like you'll be safe. If you can't trust family members, don't tell them.
Right.
If you know who the family members are who are weak-minded, or who's their friend, who may tell them, don't tell them either. They'll be okay. The main thing is your safety and your children's safety and your life.
Right.
That's the main thing right there. But family members should always be supportive, and you understand in that situation, but it's psychological is the reason why a lot of times they don't leave right away.
Absolutely. The other thing is that a lot of women don't want to leave stuff.
Right.
Material things.
Material things can be restored. Trust me, I've lost everything.
Right.
A couple of times, especially after this last divorce, and I was a nurse. But I was in a situation where I was abandoned by my ex-husband, and at the time I wasn't working full time. So he left at the time. He left at the time that he knew that I wasn't working and making all this money that I used to make.
Right.
So he had planned. He had to have planned and left. So I had to leave some stuff. I had to sell some stuff. But God has restored all that. God is a restorer. He'll restore. If you believe God, He'll restore. Now I have more than I've ever had before. I bought my own house in March. That's a nicer house than I ever had with him.
Right. I
have a car, and about to buy another one. So God will restore you. Those things can be replaced. Your life cannot.
Absolutely. Look into the camera and talk to the viewers, and let's leave something with the viewers. What would you like to leave with each one of the viewers? Because someone is looking. Because some women are looking out there that are in the situation right this moment, as well as family members.
I would like to tell you that you're looking at a person who has survived 2 abusive marriages. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You need to know that God is great, and it doesn't matter what situation you're in. You can always turn the corner around. You should never give up on yourself. You should not be so beholden to any human being or marriage vows that you stay in a bad situation that causes you harm and your children harm. So get out of those situations alive and as fast and as safely as you can. God is great, and He has great things in store for you on the other side.
That sounds good. Also, tell them how to get your book, and you have a podcast. You're on the radio.
Yes. This book, Ladies Love Yourselves First as Happiness, is on Amazon.com. You can go in there and get it. It's also, it's going to be on all the other things like platforms, iTunes, all that stuff, Apple Books, Also, you can tune in on Wednesdays. I'm on the Amber Neal Show, 95.3 Jams. We do Working Women Wednesdays, where we empower women to do better in every area of your life.
Sounds good. I thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity,
It went so
CaDori.
fast.
I know. We will be right back with J6 McDonald. Stay tuned.
All right.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
During the season's best sales event, Ron Carter Cadillac delivers 0% APR for 72 months plus $2,500 bonus cash on all 2020 XT4, XT5, and XT6. Or drive 2020 XT4 Luxury Collection only $299 a month. 2020 XT5 Premium Luxury Collection just $369 a month. And first ever 2020 XT6 Premium Luxury Collection just $399 a month. All for 39-month lease with just $1 down.
RonCarterCadillac.com.
I'm attorney Willie Powles. Allow me to express myself with you. If you've been hurt or injured in a car or truck accident, give me a call and we'll get it fixed today.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call attorney Willie Powles.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey guys, we are back. We just left CaDori, and who she is? She's the author of The Ladies Love Yourselves First. That's happiness. Now we're talking to Mr. J6 McDonald, film producer and writer. He has several movies we're going to talk about. Hey buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Cam. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Hey, on today, the reason I had this young man to come is because of the fact he is really killing it in Houston. He has done Karma, One Way Out, Pawns, and Series 6, 6 series, right? And we'll talk about each one of those. How did you get started and why?
Actually, I got started with filmmaking. It started off as a book series. I was incarcerated. I wrote a book loosely based off my life and the people I met and other people in my life. And when I came home and tried to publish a book, it was like pulling teeth. So I just bought a camera and tried to film it.
And it's about incarceration? It was about incarceration?
No, it was basically about people I met in my life up until incarceration, and then while I was incarcerated, things like that. It's not about incarceration, though.
Okay, sounds good. Let's look at some things. Let's start off with some of the movies that you have. We'll pause them and we'll let you speak on them and what they're about.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. What is this about? And the name of it?
This is that was the 6 series. That was the one I just spoke with you guys about. The one coming into view right now is back on the 6 series. Okay, so this 6 series, like I said, is loosely based on my life, people I met in my life. It's really a fictional story, but it's loosely based on the things that I've experienced in life or things that I've seen others experience in life.
Okay, the next one?
The next one is Karma. Karma is a movie that shows you how one person's bad karma can affect everyone around them. I'm not one of those people that believe in if I see a person doing wrong, that's none of my business. I'm just going to shut my mouth. So I believe if I see them doing wrong, I just inherited their bad karma. And this shows you how that can happen.
Okay, the next one.
One Way Out. One Way Out is our first action movie. It details relationships between a uncle and a nephew, ex-military, and it also highlights things that a lot of teachers go through when they're and school systems go through, like as far as them being alone in the summer times. A lot of people don't know that administration still be in the school unattended, no security, and everything like that, and that touches on a lot of that.
Okay, and the next one.
Next one is Pawns. Pawns is my baby. Pawns is about people in relationships and how they use kids as pawns. So how whenever they're breaking up, you know, the kids always get torn in the middle, get caught in the middle of a breakup, and it shouldn't be that way.
Okay. All righty. As we were looking, as you've done your films and things like that, what have you learned along the way?
Whew, I bumped my head a lot. So I learned a lot I learned that you can't do everything by yourself. You need a team of people to do it with you. You might think that you can, but you really can't. And I learned that it's an expensive thing to do, especially if you don't have funding and things like that. But overall, I learned that there's a lot of people in Houston and a lot of talent in Houston that just want to be seen. You know.
The reason I say that is that, and we talked about this, and we talked about Houston itself. And I was asking you, what do you think Houston needs to become a viable media and entertainment film industry city? What do you think we really need? Because you've been out here and you've done a lot of them.
Honestly, I think we need the city. The city would have to get involved with it more before we become viable. Because right now, a lot of producers like myself, everything comes out of pocket. And we don't have the to be able to produce movies that are mass production. There's plenty of talent out here. There's plenty of great writers, great actors, but we don't have funding from our city at all. There's no budget for us to go. There's no grants for us to, well, they say there's grants, but I've applied for all of them. I never got one. But there's no funding out there for us to reach out to. So everything comes out of pocket, you know. So if the city stepped in and helped us put it more on the map, then it would definitely be there.
Because the location and you see everything else being there, it's just the funding.
It's just the funding. Locations though. I've never actually had problems with locations with business owners or anything like that, because it seems like these business owners really be willing to step up and let you come and film in their establishments just to get the notoriety for their businesses. So I've never had a problem filming anywhere. And unlike LA, we don't have a lot of the limitations where you have to have permits to film here and film there. We don't have those restrictions.
I love that. In looking at the movie business, there is a business side of the movie. And you've seen that business side, and you just spoke of it being the funding majorly. And then, of course, just having representation, with legal and all of that. But I love the fact that you spoke about the funding in itself. And many people, you funded a lot of your own.
I funded all of my own projects. I have family members that invest into it with me, but for the most part, I funded all of my own projects, which kind of hinders us a lot from doing a lot, because we can't afford to pay for locations and things like that, and also afford to pay the actors what they're worth.
Right.
So a lot of times you'll see these big companies come from out of town, and they'll come into Houston, and they'll film their projects, and they can afford to pay our actors, but we can't. So we'll lose out a lot of times. And a lot of actors don't understand the business aspect of it. The first thing they ask you when you're getting ready to do a project is, how much are you paying me? And that's probably the wrong thing to ask. I understand why they ask you. It's probably the wrong thing to ask when you first get ready to do a project, but I understand it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a long process to filming a movie and to being a producer and writer. People have to believe in what you're doing if they're going to come devote their time for little to no pay at all.
I love that. And now that you've seen COVID, COVID has happened like the end of February, beginning of March, but you've still been going forward. How so?
I'm gonna be honest with you. When we was filming Karma, COVID hindered us a lot, because there was a lot of people that didn't really want to film during COVID. But there was so many other, man, this is a great movie. Let's get this done. I don't want to wait no more. Let's finish it. and we actually had a 30-day shoot that turned into a 6-month shoot because of COVID. But once everybody made it, let's get it done. We were able to get it. We were able to go ahead and knock it out, but we had to make sure we were safe. We had the temperature thermometers there,
Right.
disinfectant mask and things like that. But COVID really hurt, because it hurt me because I don't have the resources that I would have before. You know, I use my one job to pay for the productions, and if I'm not working as much because of COVID, then it kind of hurts back on the production part. So that again, on the financial part, if we had someone we can go to and do funding, that it would be a lot easier for a lot of film producers. And keep in mind that most of our film producers in Houston, I'm not even gonna say most, I'm probably gonna say all of us in Houston, all of us have day jobs, and we still film and produce. In LA, a film producer is a film producer. That's what he does.
That's what their career is.
No, that's their career. That's what pays their bills. It's not like that for us. We can produce films on a mass market, but we can't, because we have to have a job. We have to be able to provide for our families, and film producing isn't going to do that. Not right now. Right.
Absolutely, I understand that. If an individual is interested in going into the movie business, what would your advice be?
Don't do it. No, I'm just playing. So I would advise you to, first of all, try to avoid from renting equipment. If you're trying to be a movie producer, try to avoid from having renting equipment, because it might cost you, if you just have to buy a piece of equipment at a time, just buy a piece of equipment at a time, and that'll save you money in the long run, because that's most of all of your budget when it comes to filming, is your equipment and your time. Build yourself a strong team, that people that believe in it and they actually want to do it. They want to do it with you, and they have to understand that this is going to be a long road for us. We're not going to get rich tomorrow. We're not going to get rich the day after that. Might not get rich at all, but as long as we're doing what we love to do, let's just team up and let's get it done. And I was able to find that. So my advice for them was like, don't give up. This is something that you really want to do. Keep trying. Put your head down. Keep going, and it's going to be a road, but you'll see the progress. Nothing beats that feeling when you're sitting in the theater and people are watching your movie and they're reacting to the things that you wrote, the things that you brought to life. And always remember, if you're a film producer, remember, it's not always about you. Make sure you make your actors and your cast members and your team, make sure you feel like they're just as important as you are.
Right. What I love about you is that the collaboration, it's many in the film or the movie industry, it seems here that you all speak with each other, I guess, as far as actors and actresses. It seems like people know each other because it's kind of small knit, right? A small knit community.
It is a small knit community, and there's a rivalry there that I wish wasn't there. As far as film producers, the actors seem to have a great relationship. Actors have a great relationship with others. Film producers seem to think that we have to compete with each other in order to get to be the producers in Houston. That's not necessarily true. I work with producers. I work with Clear Quality Media a lot. I work with 360 Film Group a lot. But other than that, no producer in Houston, and the two I named are probably the only other two that I can think of. I'm not saying this is absolutely Bible, but the only other two that I can think of that we actually own our own camera equipment. I don't think there's probably another independent film company other than mine and Clear Quality Media. There's probably not another bigger one. But I've never had a producer reach out to me about helping them film their project. They rather go and rent equipment before they pick up the phone and call me and be like, "Hey Jay, what do you got going on? Do you think you can come out here and film with us?"
Wow.
It's never happened.
Yeah. And
Never.
I think, and the reason I say that is because I think what you were talking, or just listening to you and just my own research, it seems like if we came together, collaborate, unity, I think that more could be done when you do that.
Yes, absolutely. If we come together and as a whole, if all of us come, all the film producers came together, it would be great. Great things would probably happen for the city. But as long as there's division, it's gonna be a struggle. And we are absolutely divided when it comes to that in Houston.
Right. And in doing so, and like I said, just by listening to you and just doing a little research on it, just looking at the way you produced your movies, I mean, you have excellent movies. But like you said, they're renting equipment from others, and you have equipment.
Absolutely. There's nothing that you can go and rent from anywhere to film your movies that myself or Clear Quality Media don't have. Now, personally, I've never been work for hire. I've never actually worked for hire because I have so many projects that I film upon myself.
Right.
But you have enough equipment that I could actually send the crew out to go film your project with you, to go
Right.
film it with you. But they much prefer on rent, and that's their preference. That's fine. That's fine. But I even with that, I would still like to go to their premieres and see how the movie goes. I never actually get invites and stuff like that, and
Right.
I don't know why. I'll continue to reach out to them, and hopefully we can all come together one day
Right.
and just get it.
I think the more talks that we have, I think the more that we do just like this platform and just trying to bring people together, get the knowledge out there, even for new producers that are coming out, to have them to understand that they could reach out to other producers if they have the equipment. And if nothing else, rent the equipment for you if you're not using it versus going to another place renting it. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the money flowing, what I mean.
Exactly. And that's and I can honestly say, like, myself, and I can't really speak for 360 Film Group, but I know for myself and Clear Quality Media, it's not really all about money when it comes to us coming to film with you.
Right.
All we know, if you have the project and you have a timeline and we want to help you get it done, fine. Of course, you're going to have to compensate for the time
Right.
you'll be there.
Absolutely.
But that's where the problem comes in, because somebody might want you to, they feel like if they pay you $1,500, you have to be there with them. They have time allocated for 2 years or 3 years, and that's not the case. Like,
Right.
you can't be
Absolutely.
behind it.
Absolutely.
I'm not
Absolutely.
gonna.
Absolutely.
The acting community in Houston is amazing. You
Wow.
have some talented people.
We
out here.
definitely do.
You have some talented producers out here. There's a couple of them out here that y'all don't really know about yet, but these
Right.
guys are talented. I know a guy named Fred has a movie getting ready to come out these guys are talented out here.
Right.
And we all came together. We could definitely put this city on the map when it comes to production. Definitely.
Right. And what I think a lot of people don't know that the producers are here. I think with COVID, I'm seeing more because people maybe usually fly out to Atlanta or they go to LA or they go to New York. They don't work here. You know what I mean? A lot of people work outside of Houston, but they live here.
Yes, but that's another thing. As far as like, we have these big companies that fly in from LA
Yes.
and film in here. Me personally, I feel like you're flying in from LA and you're coming to Houston. If we have production companies here in Houston, I feel like you should hire one of our production companies.
Right.
Hire us to film the movie instead of keeping the money circulating in LA, because that's what they do. They bring a staff of people from LA to film in Houston
Wow.
to keep that money circulating in LA. While that's not helping us. It's
Absolutely.
not helping out. And
Absolutely.
they hire the actors that we have down here to be in their films, and we can't stop them because we can't stop them from going to make that money. Because
Right.
we can't pay them like LA can pay them.
Wow.
So we have to, tip our hat to them and be like, congratulate them in the sense that, hey, you got picked up in a big film, man. I'm happy for you. And I am happy. But if you're going to come from LA, I do feel like you should have to go through a company in Houston to film. But I know that's not going to happen. I just feel like it should.
Right. But that's a good idea. I mean, you just threw something out there that really can change the thought process of us in saying that, okay, instead of them flying people here, you already have people here, okay, that
Absolutely.
are already on the ground, that already know the city, they know what to do, they can, do the same thing. You just tell them what you want. It would probably be easier, especially now.
Absolutely. I feel like that would bring more money into the city, and like we said, it'll help. I don't know if anybody, I can't speak for everybody, but I know how hard it is to work a 8 to 10 hour shift job
Yes.
to come home to edit 8 hours to write for another, versus someone that does this all day. They have time to their craft. So that's a rough road.
That's
a rough road.
And also just to get the creativity back, just get to the inspiration back, because you've worked all day.
Absolutely. So you come home, you're really tired. You got to divide that time between family and
Right.
everything else, and then be able to focus and write. Like, I'm writing 3 scripts right now, and I still have to balance my family life at the same time and work.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a tough, But I have mentors that I can call, pick up the phone. Like, one person I can say for sure, I know for a fact if I call him, he's always gonna pick up the phone and answer. Is Chris Spencer. He'll pick up the phone, and he's already in LA. He's already done it, and he's the one that keeps telling me just don't give up. Because there be times I'll be like, man, I ain't doing this no more.
Right.
Hey, I'm going.
Yeah.
Be like, man, don't give up.
And
We're gonna make
he's a
it. Say-
great actor, a very great actor. That's just someone you pick up the phone.
Yeah, I pick up the phone and I call him. He's watched every movie I've done, and he's told me, like, hey, first of all, he told me never sell my movie. He's like, don't sell them. Like, don't do it. Keep your movies, make them come to you. Just keep pushing, keep pushing. Give your people out there a vision. Give them people out there an opportunity to be seen, and just keep doing what you're doing. Every time I call, he says hello, and that's a great gift to have. Most people don't have that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad about it. As you're looking back, you have upcoming projects. Let's talk about some of those.
Oh man, we have a couple of upcoming projects. The one that really speak the most is one called Broken. I'm doing a movie called Broken, which is a script. It's about a lot of people like to speak on how men break women or how men tear women down, but no one ever speaks about the flip side of how a woman can, if a man is completely devoted to a woman and she decides that that's not what she wants, or she cheats on him, or she does whatever it is, how broken that man can be and how strong of another woman it takes to love a broken man. Like, that is a hard thing for a woman to be able to do. So we have a movie called Broken coming up, and that's going to star Corrigan Coleman and Marvin Young, which are two great actors in Houston. These guys are phenomenal. We have another movie called Tomorrow Never Came. That's a woman. That's a chick flick. It shows women how to be successful without giving up everything. Like, most successful women feel like they have to have no family, no love life, no friends, and it's work. So this movie teaches them a balance, shows them how to balance it out. We have like 3-4 more of them one called Interstate, She's Not Perfect, and Blind Eyes. Blind Eyes is a movie that speaks on how society turns a blind eye to everything that's going on, the racism, how the hate crimes go on out here. So yeah, we have those all coming up. But again, I have a pretty solid team, so we kind of work it out together.
Man, I'm telling you, Mr. J. McDonald, you killing the game out here, my friend. You are really doing it.
It's not just it's not just me. Honestly, it's not me, because I have a team that will put me in check. Like, I have a group of people, Tony, Marcia, Jason, Carlos. These guys will put me in check if it's not right. And then working with actors like the ones from Karma, Paul and Rosalind.
Yes.
If I was, they would literally just tell me. Like, Rosalind was the first time acting, and you would swear she was a veteran. She was telling me I was doing something right. I'm like, huh? This your first time? How you know I'm not doing it right? She wait, this don't seem like it should be this way. And Paul's the same way. Paul Green will tell you to be like, yeah, I don't like that. Most people won't do that, and you need that. You have to be able to accept that from them, and I appreciate that from them. I appreciate them being able to have the honesty to be like, hey man, I don't like that shot. Let's do it again. And that's what that means. A lot of people don't want to say that to you.
Wow, I love it, because Paul Green, shout out to him. He was the one who first called me and said, you got to get this guy on your show immediately before the end of the year. And I so thank him for that. What would you like to leave with the viewers?
Leave with the viewers? I appreciate having me on. You guys, make sure you stay tuned, see what we have coming up. The director of Karma just wrote her own project called, I don't want to mess up the name of her title, I think it's called Till Marriage Do Us Part. Her name is Marcia Smith. It's going to be a dope movie. Y'all keep an eye out for everything we got going on. And hey, I'm only a link away. Just click on that messenger. If it's time-wise consumed, I'll make it happen.
Yeah. And shout out to him. I'm telling you, once you do, you go to Facebook and you click onto the messenger, you type, he's typing right back. That's really real.
When they don't message me back. So I try to literally get right back to you.
You do. I'm just saying, even within the time frame, I'm just saying you are the one messaging back. They are talking to you.
I will message right back. I will. So you guys want to need anything? You got any up and coming film producers out there that you guys just want that y'all want to see what it's like and work on your own project? Reach out. More than willing to help anybody out there. We're more than willing to work with anybody out there and get projects done just to do what's better for our city, man, and get the city on the map.
Absolutely. I so appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for the opportunity. Happy New Year to you. I know I'll see so many things coming from you. I've seen them already. I've viewed them already. You are a true film producer. I appreciate everything you're doing for Houston. If nobody ever tells you again, you have put Houston on the map. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. I'm humbled. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you. All of us here from BF Productions
Sounds good. Thank you so much. On tomorrow, we will have Frank Zakan. Yes, Jordan. He'll be here from New York, and you will want to see him. He will be talking about the Black America, the history of it. On Wednesday, we will have Eddie Levert virtual. Talk to you soon, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. Bye.